All right, man. Well, with no Buckeyes this week, I'll sneak in an El Camino recap. I think I've done like 2 or 3 movie recaps, reviews on this show, this channel. Not really my thing. I don't really know what my thing is, but definitely not this. But, man, Breaking Bad movie. Loved Breaking Bad, obviously, like everybody that watched the show back then. Most people, I don't know. I guess the movie, I don't know. I'd like to say it was worth the wait, but nobody even knew it was coming. So, and it started out, a lot from the trailer. The beginning of the show was the movie was a lot like the trailer. You see Skinny Pete, although the Skinny Pete getting interrogated by the cops there, that was not the deal. And unfortunately, we get Badger and Skinny Pete there at the beginning, but that was about it. Although Skinny Pete there in spirit throughout, old Jesse, he gave Jesse Pinkman his hat to wear. They came up with some crazy plan. Basically, once the way Breaking Bad ended, now Jesse's free. He needs money to get the hell out of Dodge, basically. Take the same route Saul took, the opportunity that he had already at once. So he rolls out of there in that El Camino. He gets with Badger and Skinny Pete. They devise a plan. Typical. I think Skinny Pete was the mastermind of this plan, so that ought to tell you. Although I think Pete ended up with the El Camino. That's what he was angling for the whole time. New El Camino, which he may have worked out. I don't know. There could be another Breaking Bad movie called El Camino 2. Skinny Pete now has the El Camino. So I don't know. We get Joe, the car guy. Probably had the funniest line in the movie. He was the dude that worked at the end of the dump with the cars. Him and Hank had a back and forth about getting in the RV and the bullet holes, that whole deal. Never would have known his name was Joe. But that guy makes a brief appearance. He gets off a funny line about the magnets with Jesse and Skinny Pete and Badger there. And there's a lot of flashbacks throughout. Even though Todd got whacked at the end, there's a lot of Todd action in this movie. Still same old creepy, interesting, likable, but psychopathic Todd. In this scene, this part of Jesse's plan, or just the flashback was just letting you know how Jesse knows where and how to get some cash. Todd had cash stashed at his apartment. Jesse finally, once he gets out, he gets his way back over to Todd's place and finally finds the cash. One of them Breaking Bad moments where it's like, where is it? It's those tense moments with Breaking Bad. Finally, when he finds the cash, then somebody shows up. The cops are there. I don't know, to check prints or something. Turns out, obviously, it was not the cops. More people just basically coming to rob, steal the money, whatever. I don't know. They seem to know Todd. Yeah, there was a scene with Todd and Uncle Jack. This guy, somebody had to build the cage that Jesse spent a lot of time in, apparently. So that also played in. While he's there to get the money, this guy might have been a guy from the Righteous Gemstones. Just finished watching that show, too. Got caught up on it, and I think that's one of the dudes, the dude that played the devil. I think that might have been him. So anyhow, turns out those dudes were not cops. That was the guy that built the cage. Him and Jesse have a little moment there. They decide to split the money. Jesse takes a bunch of money. He gets to see the ID guy, the guy, I don't know his name, the dude that got Saul out of town, the guy with the van, the vacuum guy. So Jesse goes there. He's desperate. He's got cash. He's like $1,800 short or something like that at a $250,000. The guy says, no deal, man. No deal. You don't have your cash. So then Jesse goes out. He's like, I'm going to get the cash. He goes and pays the welder boy a visit. Before that, Mr. and Mrs. Pinkman make an appearance in the movie. Jesse gets them out of the house, gets the FBI kind of to trail the parents. He sneaks into the house. I thought he was going in there to get some money from his parents. He was not. Just went in there and got a weapon, got him a little .22 and another, I don't know, like a Saturday night special or something. So then he goes to pay the welder boys a visit. Or some scene, I guess, I don't know what was up with the stripper scene. That just seemed like, come on, man. It was just a waste of a few minutes. Jesse and one of the big dudes from Better Call Saul, he was one of the thugs that Mike ran off at one point. He was the tough guy that showed up with the strippers. I don't know what that was all about. Maybe, it just seemed like, come on, man. At this point, it was getting late in the movie. I didn't want to have this thought, but I was disappointed. It got down to 25, 30 minutes left, and I was like, this is it, man. This is it forever. Breaking Bad is over. So I fought off those thoughts. Just tried to enjoy it, be in the moment of the movie. I'll just be in the moment, man. Fucking be in the moment guy. I am not a be in the moment guy. So anyhow, I tried to be in the moment at this point. So then, Jesse gets, you saw that in the trailer probably. Jesse blows up the welding place. He does have a little showdown, an old-fashioned duel with the guy that made the cage. Jesse lights him up. You know, he thinks he's going to goofing on his 22 there. Jesse has a good line. I don't know. I think it was my grandpa's or something. So anyhow, he ends up blowing old dude away and shoots another guy, gets his hand on a gun. I don't know. Anyhow, he blows the place up. I guess everything's gone there. Fuck, I don't know. Whatever. So anyhow, then we get down. Jesse's finally got his cash. He's going to go back and see the vacuum guy. A little flashback to a scene with Walter, also reminding us, like Todd, it's like, was Walter cool? Was Walter not cool? Am I supposed to like Walter? Should I not like Walter? I believe it was a scene right after their very first cook out there in the RV out in the desert. They're having breakfast at some restaurant, and Walt says he feels like he's finally accomplished something special. So basically, that's what he said. That might not be exactly what he said, but basically he was like, you're lucky, Jesse. You did something special at such a young age. I don't know. I guess making 60 pounds of meth to Walt was something special. So, yep, answers that question. Todd's a psycho. Walt's a psycho. Then we get to the very end. Oh, yeah, there's also a cameo by Mike. Jesse, they showed a flashback to Jesse and Mike talking at one point. Mike had said, you know, if he were in Jesse's shoes, had all that money, just needed to get lost, he would go to Alaska. Jesse takes his advice, gets hooked up by the vacuum dude. Looks like he takes a U-Haul to Alaska. And then, boom, that is it. Pinkman is rolling out in a Cherokee at the end. Starts out in an El Camino, ends up in a Cherokee. So I guess it felt like one night. It was like one extra really long episode of Breaking Bad. You know, if you were wondering there at the end, whatever happened to Jesse? What's up with Skinny Pete and Badger? There was a good line from Skinny Pete. Told Jesse that he was his hero and shit. Jesse, I think we got one bitch out of Jesse. This is not the Jesse Pinkman we once knew. You know, this El Camino Pinkman, it's a different Pinkman. Guy was held in a cage like a rat and abused for years. He was out for revenge and freedom. He got both. And so yeah, like I said, we got the one bitch. It was in the flashback scene with Walter. And I guess that's about it, man. Old Badger's car was in it. Could have been called Fiero. It was actually called El Camino, though, guys. All right. Boom. We're out of here. If you haven't watched it, and you just sat through this whole video, I spoiled the fuck out of the movie for you, but maybe I should have said spoiler alert at the beginning. Who does movie reviews without spoiling it? What the hell? How could you even do that?